Hey everyone, so I'm going to be doing a valve adjustment on my 168cc Tank 200 Deluxe scooter, and the valve adjustment on mine says to do a 0.12 millimeter. So I got this feeler gauge and it's got a 0.127 millimeter on it, so that's what I'll be using to do the valve adjustment. The first thing that I'm going to need to do is take off this cover, and I got a 10 millimeter, and it's going to be these two bolts here. So before I take that off, I got to take that hose off. Just got to wiggle it back and forth till it pops off like that, and I'll just move this over here out of the way, and now I can take this cover off. I'll go ahead and loosen this up on both sides. And now I can just do it by hand. And you want to watch that you don't lose that right there. So I just leave it on there. Go ahead and take this side out. That little seal right there, you don't want to lose that. So, should be a gasket right here. Don't want to lose that. I'll just put it right there on top of that and set it aside. It helps to have some paper towels on you because it is going to be a little greasy. I don't want to get my camera all greasy. Next thing I need to do is take this off, this cover. Next I got this 14 millimeter socket, and I'm going to have to put it in here and turn it like this. And I'll show you what happens when I do that. So as I turn it, you see that turning right there, and you can see the valves moving. So that just went down and up. And then you see the bottom one go down and then back up. So you want to get this turned about right here, where that hole is right in the center between the two valves. And then what happens is, if I adjust my wrench here and I go back and then I go forward, none of these moves. Next I'm going to take my 0.127 millimeter gauge here. I'm going to put it in the top here and check that one, and it is very loose. As you can see, there's hardly any resistance at all. It is very loose. And this one I can't even get under, so that one is way too tight. Like, it will not go in there at all. Now I believe these are 9 millimeter nuts. I got a 3/8. I can't find a 9 millimeter, but the 3/8 does fit on there. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen this one up just a little bit. Don't need to loosen it too much. And then I'll loosen the top one. I'm going to have to take off the extension. Hopefully I can get it in there. Alright, and I got that loose. So what you're going to do next is, while this nut is loose, you should be able to turn, I'll use this as a pointer. So while that nut is loose, you should be able to turn that part. So since this one was loose, I'm going to be turning it clockwise. Put my gauge in here. Just turn this top piece just enough that it's not tight on the gauge, but it's not too loose either. So right now it's a little loose. There's a little bit of resistance. Go ahead and turn it just a little bit more. So you just want to make sure that it's not, snagging and holding on to the gauge. So that looks like it's in the right spot. So now what I'm going to do is tighten that nut back on, and I'm going to keep an eye on that to make sure that doesn't turn as I'm tightening it. So now I'm going to check with the gauge again, and it's not too loose, but there is a little bit of resistance, so it's not too tight. And now I'm going to do the bottom one. So I already loosened the nut on this, and it was too tight, so I'm going to loosen this up. And I can't seem to move it, so I'm going to use this to grab onto it and turn it and loosen it up. Alright, now the gauge is going in, and it's still a little too tight, so I'm going to loosen it just a little bit more. Alright, I think I got it where it needs to be. Alright, I'll go back to this 3/8 and tighten that nut up. Remember, not too tight, just enough that it's not gonna loosen up. Not too loose, got a little bit of resistance, so not too tight. Let me go ahead and check the top again. Not too loose, little bit of resistance, so not too tight. Alright, the GoPro got too hot and shut off, but luckily I was done. I already got the cover back on, the bolts in, and the hose back on. So now the next thing to do is start it up. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and start it up. See if I can do this one hand. Hold the brake lever in. So yeah, I think that valve adjustment worked, because normally if I start it up cold, it will either have a rough idle or it will die right away, and then I'd have to start it up, and then I wouldn't be able to ride until it warmed up a bit. So that was a valve adjustment on the 168cc Tank 200 Deluxe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again next time.